Alright, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to continue from where we actually stopped with variables. So we are going to continue from where we stopped with variables, and here we are going to talk about some rules that you have to follow while creating a variable name. Okay, so before you create a variable name, there are some rules that you have to follow. Okay, and these rules are just simple and straightforward. As far as you follow them, you will not run into any problem while creating names for your variable. Okay, so the first thing that you should know that a variable can have short names such as x and y. We discussed that in our last tutorial. We can initiate a variable called x and we call it says my name. Okay, so that can be a variable. It can be as short as that, or the variables can also have a very long names. They can have long names like this: name, class, age. Okay, I even have descriptive name like my 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 new name. Okay, can even have a very descriptive name like that. All right, so these are the rules. A variable name must start with a letter or an underscore character. Okay, to start a name, you start it with a letter like this, or you attach an underscore to it. Okay, that can still serve as a variable. Okay, let's call this variable Gabi. All right, so if we now attempt to print our variable name underscore name, sorry about that, we attempt to print our variable underscore name, you can see it still works. Okay, so a variable can come with an underscore like that, or it can start with a letter. A variable can never start with a number. Let us try to attach a number to this one and see if it will work. And we come here and say print for name. We say invalid syntax. Alright, you can see it here written here. Invalid syntax. Alright, so a variable can never start with a letter, with a number, but a variable can actually contain a number at the end. You can say name too if you want to include a number, and if you want to print it out there, you can now print it out name too, and you see it comes out and it still works all right. So another thing you should take note is a variable can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore. When we say alphanumeric, it contains both alphabet and numerals, all right, as we just showed there. A variable names are case sensitive. Okay, they are case sensitive. For instance, if I should copy this, let's copy that and paste here. And I now change the small letters here to capital letter. Let me put 2 so that you notice the difference. So if I should run this, it's still John Doe. But if I should come and change the case here to uppercase, it's now John Doe too. So variable names are case sensitive, and a variable name cannot be any of the Python keyword. Okay, For instance, I call this class. I initiate a variable and call it class. You see already, if it has actually changed everything there. If I try to print out class is a Python keyword. Say invalid syntax line 3. So let's look at line 3. In our line 3 here, you see we use this word class. Class is a keyword and you can use it as a variable. But if I should take out one s now, if I should take out one s, I take out one s here, we are alright now. We are good to go. You can see the color has changed again, and that can go because class with one s is not a keyword in Python. So that's it for the rules with naming your variables. That's it with the rules in naming your variables. You can also make multi-word variables. No longer interested. Okay. Mhm. So you can also make multi-word variable names. As we talked earlier. So for instance, if you look at this, I wanted to create a new variable called my new name. Now this could be difficult to read if I didn't include these underscores here. So there are other ways that you can see make this to be easier to read. One of them is to include this underscore. Let's try to print that out. My new name. Okay. You can see Gabby there on the screen. So another way to do that, you can say my new name equal Gabby 2. Okay. So each word except the first one starts with what? A capital letter. That way you can also find it easier to read. Another way is also to start all the words with a capital letter. Alright. So try that and see, and run it and see what it will output. Okay, what it will output on your output screen. So I think that's basically it about the name conventions with variables. So before we just wrap this off, let's see some other things we can do with variable. We can add many values to multiple values. We can add many values to multiple variables, okay? And we can also add a single value to multiple variable. That is easily done by saying, for instance, we want to create 3 variables, x, y, Z. Notice that we separate each of them with a comma, and we set it to be equal to a collection of books. Don't forget your comma. Then we have our pen. Don't forget your comma. And we have, what else do we have in a classroom? Board. Board. We also have, okay, that's the last one. You don't need to include the comma then. All right. So if you should come here and print x, let's copy this. So we print x, let's print y, and let's print z. Let's see what it is. You can see my name, pen, board. Okay, something is missing there. We print x, we print y, and we printed z, and we said x, y, z equals books, pen, and board. Okay, so why are we not having books? Why are we not having books? Okay, let's save that and try that again. Something is wrong somewhere. Okay, there's another variable here. You can see there's another variable here, x equals to my name. All right, that's interfere, and Python is actually reading that one as x. So this is important for you to know that where Python actually starts from, when Python actually do execute the last program and ignores the first one, as we saw here. Okay, so let's take this out since we have another variable x already, and let's run that. So you can see our books, pen, and board there. Okay, so or we can also add one value to multiple variables. Like, instead of bringing in all this, we can just say x, y, and z equals to books, and there's, okay, let's look at that again. X, y, and z equals to books, and we have to print x, we have to print y, and we have to print z. Okay, let's take all this out. There are too many values to unpack. Oh, that was there was a mix up there. You can't do that. So to actually attach one value to multiple variables, you have to say that x equal y, and y equals to z. Sorry about that. And z equals to books. Okay. Now, if we run that, you can see x, y, and z. We have printed them all out. You can now run, compared to the last one that we actually wanted to unpack them. Okay. So that's it for that. So let's actually try to actually unpack our variable. So this actually comes in when you are when you have a collection of values in a list or tuples, we will actually get into what we mean by list and tuples. Okay, so when you have a list, Python actually allows you to extract the values into variables, and that process is called unpacking. Unpacking. Okay, so Python allows you to extract from a list and you create a variable from it. Let's just do it practically for you to see here. So for instance, we have this variable called fruits. Okay, let's call this school. And inside the school, we have a list of items. Notice we use square brackets for this. The first one is the books. Let's just fix this all up. The first one is books. Don't forget to bring in your comma sign. The next one is pen, and you don't forget your comma sign. And the last one is what else did we have there? Books, pen, and board. Okay, so and we want to unpack this variable into a variable called x, y, and z. Okay, so what we do is we write x comma y comma and z equals to, we equate it to our variable school. Okay, so equating that to our variable school, let's run that. Okay, there's an error there. Let's take this out. Sorry, the error is you can't call a variable like that as a string. So this is what we want to unpack here. School equals to the books, pens, and board. And we want to unpack it into x, y, and z, and we equate this all to school. So if we run that, you see now, if you printing 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 x brings out books, printing y brings out pens, and printing z brings out board. Okay, so this is just an introduction to unpacking, and these are some few cool things that you can do with variable, and you can actually get a user input into a variable. Like you can actually create a variable in which you store an input from a user in that variable. We will do that in our next tutorial. So thank you for joining this tutorial. See you in the next one.